Howdy gamers, it's Wootini from gaygamer.net here with another one of my video podcasts. I don't really have much to add this week over last week because I've pretty much just been playing a lot of Zelda. Except for the couple of days when I had to go home upstate to my parents for Thanksgiving. And I remember one year bringing I think it was the first year that the Wii had come out, and I brought it home for Thanksgiving because I thought, this is awesome, Wii Sports, it's totally accessible, they'll have a great time, we can all play Wii Sports, we'll do Wii Bowling and whatever, and it'll be fun, you can play Wii Tennis. They weren't that into it. I mean, they thought, oh, this is cool, okay, fine, but pretty much the living room TV was set to football all day, so there wasn't really a lot of gaming going on. I do recall one time back years ago, I remember I was playing Shenmue and I was so into it that I actually brought my Dreamcast home with me, because, you know, it was a relatively small console. It traveled pretty well. So I brought my Dreamcast and the cables and controller home with me. And I remember plugging it into the upstairs TV, and that was awesome, because I could just sit at home. They're all watching football and whatever, and I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to go upstairs and play a video game and have a lot more fun than watching football. But, I mean, I'm not going to bring home my Wii to play Zelda, because, you know, now my brother has kids, and so I can't get a moment's peace, and I have to play with them all the time. And although it would have been fun if I had a car, actually. If I didn't have to take a bus upstate, because I live in Brooklyn, I don't have a car. But if I had a car, I would totally have packed my Xbox 360 and my Kinect, and I would have brought my copy of Sesame Street Once Upon a Monster to play with my niece, because I think she would have really enjoyed that. I know I enjoy the game, so I'm sure that she would. But I'm not lugging that crap home on a bus. That's ridiculous. But anyway, the rest of the time I have been playing The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, and I've just finished the mining facility and reached the Temple of Time, and that's about where I am at this point in the game. I feel like I'm plowing through it, and I almost feel like I'm going too fast. I'm sure other people are already done with it, but I don't like to rush, and I feel like I've been playing it like a lot. Like, I've been ignoring all my other games to play Zelda. So, I mean, like, this afternoon I played some Lego Harry Potter because I'm like, I need to not play Zelda as much. I have other games I need to finish, and I don't want to rush through Zelda because I'm enjoying it so much. Okay, except for this bit in the mining facility, which just drove me insane. There were these one enemies that I just was... I thought I was going to have an aneurysm. Luckily, they were actually harder than the boss. Go figure. Anyway, so some further thoughts on The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I still love the art style, although I will say that when you're, like, looking off into the distance to see where you need to go next, that whole impressionistic, painterly style, while lovely to look at, and stylistically gorgeous, not helpful when you're looking for landmarks, because it just turns into a muddy blur. I was very concerned to learn that this was the first Zelda game that would have save points. Personally, not a big fan of save points. I prefer the games where you can save wherever you are, and it literally just pauses the game at that exact moment. There you are. And you can restart from that save point at that exact space in time. I will say the worst is Resident Evil, because they limit your saves. They're like, oh, no more ink ribbons? Oh well, that was just ridiculous. Who thought that was a good idea? Because in a game like that, you want to be able to save as much as possible, because you might run out of ammo and screw yourself, and then you have to go back and try again. But as it turns out, I'm kind of enjoying the save points, because they're relatively well placed, I think, and there's only been like once or twice so far where I've been like, I could use a save point, you know, but there isn't one, so I have to finish that area, and you work your way around to another, to, you know, either to a next save point, or you work your way back to the save point you were just at, and you can save your game and then skip where you just did, but whatever. I do like it because, as opposed to older Zelda games where you could just say, oh, okay, save, and then leave, and then come back to the game, you would then have to start at either Link's house, or the beginning of the area you were at, or the beginning of the dungeon you were at, and then you'd have to work your way back down again, and, you know, you would create those checkpoints and the teleport points so that you could get back to the beginning of the dungeon, whatever. So I kind of like having the save points because it means that you've worked your way to a certain point of the dungeon, you save, you don't have to start all the way back at the beginning and work your way through. And it lets them lay out the dungeons in a slightly different fashion because you don't have to have, you know, this level of the dungeon where you work your way through it and then you kind of work your way through and then create a shortcut to the beginning. That way, when you save your game and you start at the beginning, you can just go straight through and skip all of that nonsense that you just did. The other thing that I'm enjoying is, today, I actually used up all my potions and my fairy in the bottle and died, and I had to restart my game. And when I hit continue, yes, I had to finagle my way through a whole room again, but the enemies that I had defeated were still defeated. So I really appreciated that. The fact that the enemies don't regenerate as often. They do regenerate. Like, I've noticed that sometimes you'll, like, leave and you'll go back into a room and the enemies will be back in the room. But for the most part, it seems as though when you clear a room of enemies, they're gone. And it's not like, you know, which I guess is slightly more realistic because, you know, as opposed to, like, leaving the room and then saying, oh, now I have that key, let me go back into the previous room and use that key on that locked door. Then you go back in there, and then all of a sudden all these enemies are right back where you started, and you're like, God damn it, didn't I just take care of you? So I do appreciate that. And it's very interesting because, like I said, I'm not sure where I am, if I'm halfway through or a third of the way through or whatever. I just finished the mining facility. But it's like you're chasing Zelda for this whole game, and it's fascinating to me, and I'm like, I sort of want them to do, like a pseudo-sequel, like a follow-up. It's not like a real sequel, because you'd use the same game engine and the same environments and everything, but I want to play as Zelda, because it looks like she's having kind of an exciting adventure, too. But right now, Link is terrific. I'm a little annoyed because I totally thought that in the mining facility I was going to get the hookshot, because I kept seeing all these things that looked like hookshot targets. But I guess that's coming next, I guess, because I got this giant blowy thing. I don't know, it's a new gadget, but, you know, it's cute, it's fun. I'm really enjoying the game. I've started to get used to the controls, while I still feel like it's not as one-to-one as I was led to believe it would be. In the mining facility, there's these enemies that have electrified weapons, so you have to be very careful not to hit the side where the weapon is. So when they're like this, and like this, you have to aim to the other side. And I found myself starting to be able to actually swipe, and it would, like, register which direction I was slashing in. And that enemy at the mining, the boss at the mining facility, is all about just slashing in specific directions to hit it in a certain way when it gives you the indication of how to hit it. Trying to avoid spoilers here, people. And it was super easy to take down, so I'm thinking that I'm starting to get the hang of it, and it might have just been me that was not... Maybe I was just flailing about thinking that I was... Stupid mosquitoes, I swear to God. I'm gonna name this thing. It's living in our house, and I can't get rid of it. I can't kill it. It won't die. I can't... Anyway, I'm gonna name it. What should I name it? Suggestions in the comments, please. Anyway, so yeah, Zelda is awesome. I like the new gameplay additions that they've given it, and it's just super fun. And every level, it's just traditional Zelda awesomeness, where every level you get a new gadget, you learn how to use it, it's super fun. There's some slightly obtuse puzzles that make you go, huh? But overall, great. And so I'm still really enjoying this game, and I'm enjoying it so much that I kind of want to slow down, because I don't want to rush through it and finish it, and then not be able to enjoy it as much. Plus, I have until Christmas, because I've put Skyrim on my Christmas list, so I don't have to worry about anything else coming along until Christmas. So I should be good. So I have got weeks to play this game. So I want to make it last. So that'll do it for this week. Maybe next week I'll have played something else, but probably not. I'll probably still be playing Zelda. So I don't know what I'm going to talk about then. I guess we'll find out next week. Bye!